It was amazing. I think that I don't think anything can replicate travel. I think even in this day and age of multi-channel TV and the internet and everything else, the amount of information we have to hand, there's nothing that replicates actually going somewhere. And I think that particularly with India, I thought that I hadn't seen a program where anybody of Indian origin had actually gone around to have a look at it. And I thought I might be able to bring some an alternative perspective, perhaps. I mean, I speak the language, even though I was born in Ealing, which is quite far from India, in West London. But that was my aim really, and also to kind of show 21st century India. People are very familiar with. There are kind of buzzwords when people talk about India, and they'll think about the poverty, and they'll think about elephants and tigers and maybe the Himalayas. But I just wanted to suggest and show that 21st century India may not be the sum of all the images they have in their head. India's never been more accessible, actually, particularly to Europeans and particularly to us Brits, because I think that on the one hand there's enough there that's familiar. One of my favourite statistics about India is that the English-speaking population of India is almost as large as the entire population of the United States. So you're not going to have language problems when you get there, and there's enough of the kind of world chain restaurants that you'll find there. So there's an immediate sense of familiarity, and the television there's probably a dozen channels that are in English, but you take half a step to the left or right and you can have the full Indian experience, make you feel like you've been transplanted to another world and another time. And I think in that sense it's fantastic. I mean, I think that Goa and Kerala is one of the fastest growing tourist spots in the world, and I think that it's still relatively undeveloped, and I think that's an extraordinarily beautiful place to go. But also Rajasthan, which I'd never really been to before, they have the most amazing forts. I mean, forts that are over 1,000 years old. A lot of them that have been half turned into hotels and things as well. So you get to stay in a palace, live the life of a Maharaja. And also it's only about an hour from Delhi. So you can get a flight into the capital city, and there's loads of forts and things there. But within an hour, you can be in this, in this world that's 1,000 years old. Where Maharajas still live and are still kind of revered, and I think that the extraordinary diversity within India. If you go to the Himalayas and you can trek and you can go white water rafting, and at the other end you've got the sort of sun-kissed beaches of southern India. I think it does have everything. I went to India maybe about 3 or 4 times when I was growing up, and it never felt like a holiday because we just, ended up seeing family, and I think we saw the Taj Mahal for about 10 minutes because we had to get back for some cousin's wedding or something, But for me, India didn't seem to change for 25 years, and then in the last 10 it's been this extraordinary kind of reinvention. But I think that as a kid it never felt like holidays because it was dusty, and you'd get dive bombed by mosquitoes, and there'd be an outside toilet and stuff like that, and I would be the kid saying when are we going back to Hounslow. I was probably the only one, but I think that I'm glad that I've seen that, because I can sort of I can absolutely talk about the change, and so I think I do enjoy looking back on those days, but I'm glad it has changed. I almost count the number of holidays we had. We never went abroad. We went to Wales and it rained. We went to the Lake District and it rained. And we went to Hayling Island and it hailed. So it's one of those things where our attempts at taking holidays within Britain weren't particularly successful. Though in the last few years, now that I've got a family of my own, we take both sets of parents and brothers and sisters and their families, and we have a British holiday. So this year we went to Suffolk, and it rained once, but very, very hard. We almost got flooded. With a young family, it's difficult to do the long haul stuff, but particularly over the last couple of years, we've tried to do long weekends and things like that. And it's the first chance that I've had to explore Europe, and Spain and Italy particularly, I think, are fantastic. They're incredibly child-friendly countries. And I think that the last two visits have been to Italy, and it's just, I think, again, with Southern Europe, I think you've got this palpable sense of history. You've got these buildings that are ornate and fantastic and have stories behind them, and you also have great beaches, and you've also got great food, and it's only, you know, a couple of hours away from Britain. So in that sense, I think when I was younger, I didn't have the money to travel, and now that I can afford to travel, it's trying to find those pockets, but I've become much more passionate about it actually now. I'm really happy going anywhere. I've not really been to Africa. I haven't been to Africa as a continent, so I'd quite like to go there. Not really been to the Far East. Singapore for 4 days and Kuala Lumpur for 4 hours doesn't really count. New Zealand, I've been to Australia, and that was extraordinary. And America's great. I've not been to South America. My sister travels to South America a lot. And it's just anywhere. I mean, even some of the smaller towns in Europe, off the beaten tracks, you get an experience. You know, you won't get the brochure experience, but that's not important. You know, the important thing is to go and have the experience.